Hey y'all, welcome back to the College Vine YouTube channel. Before we get started today, as always, you should remember to subscribe below to make sure you don't miss any of our application tips or test prep strategies. And if you find this particular video helpful, we would very much appreciate it if you would click the like button below and share it with your friends on social media. Let's get started. Today we are talking about yet another Ivy League powerhouse, that's Brown University. Located in the vibrant College Hill Historic District of Providence, Rhode Island, Brown University is the 7th oldest institution of higher learning in the United States. It was founded in 1764. Brown offers more than 2,000 courses across more than 70 concentrations. One of Brown's unique features is that it offers an open curriculum in which students are not required to take any general education classes. However, there may be course or distribution requirements within your specific majors to ensure you're getting all of that vital knowledge to actually graduate with a degree in that subject. Additionally, all Brown undergraduates must fulfill a 2-part writing requirement, including at least one writing-focused course. Students at Brown also have the freedom to create their own academic concentrations with guidance and approval from faculty members. Some of the most popular majors at Brown include biology or biological sciences, economics, computer science, history, and neuroscience, along with special programs. All of this openness and exciting curriculum sounds great, right? Well, how difficult is it to get into Brown? Unfortunately, Brown is one of the most selective schools in the country. For the class of 2019, it received more than 30,000 applicants and offered admission to just about 2,500 of them for an acceptance rate of 8.5%. Brown also accepts a very small number of waitlisted candidates, usually notifying them of a final decision by mid-May. Typically, about 400 to 500 students are waitlisted, and in recent years, between 0 and 196 students were admitted from the waitlist. Brown was the 11th most selective college in the country with its class of 2022, with schools like Princeton, Stanford, and Juilliard beating it out. Building a strong transcript and extracurricular resume is no longer enough to receive a coveted acceptance at Brown. So you might be wondering what you can do to stand out. In this video, we'll be offering some of our tips to beat those difficult odds. First, let's discuss the application, because before you apply to Brown, you'll need to familiarize yourself with how you actually put yourself in front of the admissions committee. Brown uses the Common Application with a required supplement. To learn more about the Common Application, don't miss our comprehensive guide linked in the comments below and other videos on our YouTube channel. Brown's application deadlines are November 1st for early decision and January 1st for regular decision. Early decision applicants will receive their admissions decision in mid-December, and regular decision applicants will be notified by the end of March. Brown's early decision program is binding. That means that if you're accepted through early decision, you are required to matriculate at Brown. However, if your admissions decision is deferred, meaning that you will be considered alongside the pool of regular decision candidates, you are not required to attend if accepted through that regular round. Students accepted through the regular decision round plan must notify Brown of their final decision by May 1st, which is kind of the universal college acceptance date. When applying to Brown, you'll need to submit the following materials alongside your completed Common Application. Those are SAT or ACT scores. The writing section is not required. SAT subject test scores from 2 tests. This is not required, but highly recommended. Your high school transcript with your grades, GPA, and class rank if your school calculates it. Guidance counselor forms, which are a recommendation, a school report, and the mid-year report. 2 recommendations from teachers in core academic subjects. A graded paper from a humanities or a social studies class. A video profile submission or an in-person alumni interview. Both are treated equally. A $75 application fee or a fee waiver, and finally, the Brown University supplement. For more information about the supplement, don't miss our guide to that Brown supplement, which is linked in the comments below. Brown also accepts additional materials, which can be uploaded to your admissions file once you receive an account username, but recommends that you do not send award certificates or similar materials of that type. You will have the opportunity to describe specific awards in the Common Application. If you'd like to submit AP or IB exam scores, upload audio or visual materials to demonstrate artistic talents, or send in materials regarding special circumstances, you do have the opportunity to do so. You may need to submit additional materials to Brown along with the basic application requirements listed above if you are applying to the PLME 8-year medical program or the Brown RISD dual degree program. Now let's talk about interviews. Many Brown applicants participate in alumni interviews. These interviews are an opportunity both for you to get to know Brown better through asking questions of someone who actually went there, and of course for Brown to learn more about you. If you are able to receive an interview, you'll typically meet with a Brown alum in a public location, often a Starbucks or another coffee shop, upon which you'll mutually agree. Your interviewer will fill out an evaluation of you and your conversation, and that evaluation will become part of your admissions file and be considered alongside the rest of your application materials. Brown reports that while interviews are not considered a particularly important part of their application process, they are considered at least a little bit. So if you are able to accept an alumni interview near you, you should take advantage of that opportunity. Now that you know about all the application requirements for Brown, how can you actually maximize your chances of getting in? Given that Brown receives over 30,000 applicants for fewer than 1,700 spots in the matriculating class, it's clear that simply turning in all of these requirements is really only the beginning of a successful application. In order to actually get into Brown, you'll have to show the true academic excellence, drive, and creativity that demonstrate that you would be a strong addition to Brown's campus, both inside and outside the classroom. You may notice that we haven't listed minimum required standardized test scores or a minimum GPA that you'll need to achieve. That's because Brown, like many other top-tier colleges, doesn't actually publish explicit cutoffs for these numbers that applicants must meet in order to apply. Instead, once again, like many other top schools, they practice a holistic approach to admissions. They consider many facets of your character and scholastic abilities before they make a final decision. Still, academics are one of the most important factors weighed, and if you'd like to get into Brown, you will need a solid GPA and good standardized test scores. However, Brown's website indicates that in 2019, the middle 50% of incoming first-year students had a math SAT score of 720 to 790 and a reading SAT score of 700 to 760. In addition, 96% of admitted students fell in the top 10% of their high school class, and a full 100% were in the top half of their graduating classes. Just because Brown doesn't set explicit limits for GPA or test scores doesn't mean that you don't need to do well at those things to get into Brown. Most successful applicants have excelled on those measures. It just means that high test scores and grades alone are not enough in themselves to get you admitted to Brown. The rest of your application is very important in convincing the admissions committee at Brown that you'd be a good addition to the student body. So, moving forward, let's give some specifics about what Brown is actually looking for in standout applications. This is how to make your application stand out. While all of the schools at Brown's here share some basic qualities that they're seeking in applicants, once again, those are things like academic strength, extracurricular involvement, and strong recommendations from trusted educators, each college does have some particular priorities distinctive just to it. Here's how you can make sure your application showcases the specific qualifications and characteristics that are particularly prized by Brown. One is to take time to perfect your essays. Brown is looking for applicants whose essays show both strong writing skills and a creative and kind of interesting perspective. You'll want to consider your topic carefully, plan out your essay before you start writing, and ask others to proofread and offer their thoughts. As you begin to think about your essay, remember that a strong college essay always has a few things. It has a cohesive theme, it's deeply introspective and personal, and it's engaging and compelling. The essay is, unfortunately, where many otherwise qualified students fall short. They might have high grades, high scores, good extracurriculars, but they don't write great essays because they're simply not used to producing the kind of creative storytelling that makes for a strong college essay. To make your essay as engaging as possible, you should really focus on showing, not telling. You've probably heard this advice in your English class already, but it's particularly important for the creative writing that's required for a college essay. For more tips about perfecting your college essays, both for Brown and other highly competitive schools, don't miss several of our essay blog posts linked in the comments below this video. Another priority when applying to Brown is to demonstrate that you've explored a variety of extracurricular activities and interests. Different schools differ on how they weigh depth versus breadth when it comes to extracurriculars, and while depth is important at Brown, this college particularly appreciates applicants whose interests are pretty diverse. Including unusual or unexpected extracurriculars in your application is a great way to make it stand out. Of course, the more accomplished in these broad set of extracurriculars, the more impressive your application will become. Try to participate in a few different extracurriculars that highlight different areas of strength, interest, and passion. In these activities, try to build up to leadership roles and also participate in competitions or other events whenever possible. To learn more about how specific colleges measure success in extracurriculars, check out our blog post breaking down the 4 tiers of extracurricular activities. That one is also linked below for your convenience. No matter your expected major, you also want to show Brown that you appreciate the humanities and liberal arts. Even if you are planning to go into a STEM field, as many students at Brown do, Brown will expect you to have engaged with things like humanities and social sciences. It's a key part of Brown's educational philosophy, and it's the basis of their offerings like the Program in Liberal Medical Education, PLME, which encourages students to pursue medical science while also exploring the liberal arts. When choosing which SAT subject test scores to submit, submitting at least one from a humanities class is a particularly good idea when applying to Brown. The same can be accomplished through demonstrating AP exams or other exams or your extracurriculars. Basically, submitting a well-rounded profile that includes the humanities or liberal arts is particularly important at a school like Brown. Another idea is to emphasize your creative and artistic sides. Among top-tier colleges, Brown is known for its more quirky, artsy character, which is bolstered by its close relationship with the Rhode Island School of Design, that's RISD. It's one of the best art schools in the country. So use your application to show off your most creative accomplishments and commitments to the visual and performing arts, whether in the classroom, in your extracurriculars, or just on a more personal level as a hobby. You also want to demonstrate that you are a self-motivated learner who's willing to think outside the box. Brown's open curriculum, in which there are, once again, few course requirements relative to other schools, will give you the opportunity to craft your own educational plan. It's your responsibility to use this freedom wisely and productively, and Brown appreciates applicants whose past academic and extracurricular experiences show that they will make the most of this open curriculum. Showing how you can create opportunities where none existed through things like independent study or founding your own club are both great examples of your ability to take both initiative and leadership towards your academics and interests. Finally, if you're truly set on attending Brown, you really ought to know that your chances are better if you apply through their early decision round. While it's true that early decision applicants do tend to be a more qualified pool overall than regular decision applicants, our data indicates that even when corrected for differences in GPA and test scores, early action applicants are still accepted at a higher rate than regular decision applicants. In 2018, for instance, Brown had right around 3,500 applications through its early decision program. Of these, 737 were accepted for an early decision acceptance rate of 21%. That's nearly 3 times the regular decision acceptance rate. Clearly, applying early to Brown is a smart decision if it's truly your top choice school. That's all for today's video on getting into Brown, but for more information about getting into highly selective schools like Brown and many others, check out the blog post linked in our comments below. And for more general guidance on applying to college, you can always visit us online at app.collegefind.com. Thank you for visiting us here at the College Find YouTube channel, and if you're applying to college, particularly Brown this season, best of luck.